My father, 61M, cheated with my wife, 34F, and all our mutual friends knew about it because my wife was bragging about it. I, 36M, am at the lowest point of my life, and I don't know how to pick up the pieces. If you had told me 6 months ago that I'd be sitting here, typing out a story about how my father, 61M, had an affair with my wife, 34F, and that every one of our close friends knew about it and kept it from me, I'd have laughed in your face. But now, I feel like the punchline in the cruelest joke imaginable. This story is long and painful, but I feel like I need to get it out there. Maybe writing it down will help me make sense of things, or maybe someone out there has been through something similar and can offer some advice. Either way, here's my story. I always had a good relationship with my father. Growing up, he was the guy everyone looked up to. He was successful in his career, charismatic, and had this way of making everyone feel like they were the most important person in the room. He was the kind of dad who coached my Little League team, helped me with homework, and made every birthday special. My parents' marriage wasn't perfect, but from the outside, it seemed solid. My mom always seemed to dote on him, and he played the role of the devoted husband well. I never questioned their relationship. Fast forward to my adulthood. I got married to my wife, Lisa, 8 years ago. We met in college, and she was everything I ever wanted. Smart, funny, beautiful. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I thought we were in it for the long haul. We had a small but tight-knit group of friends, and our social circle overlapped with my family's. My father was a regular at our gatherings, and he always had a way of being the life of the party. Everyone loved him, my friends, my wife, everyone. Lisa and my dad got along well, which I thought was a good thing. In fact, I remember feeling lucky that she and my father could bond over things like sports, books, and even some of the same TV shows. They shared inside jokes, which I found endearing. Looking back, all the signs were there, but I was too blind to see it. A few months ago, I started noticing changes in Lisa. She became distant. She'd pull away when I tried to be affectionate, and she seemed to be spending more time out with friends than she ever had before. We weren't as close as we used to be, but I chalked it up to the stress of everyday life. We both had demanding jobs, and I figured that maybe she was just burned out. Around the same time, I started noticing some odd behavior from my dad, too. He started dropping by our house more often than usual. He'd bring over a bottle of wine or some groceries, offering to help Lisa with cooking while I was working late. I didn't think much of it at the time. He'd always been a helpful guy, and I appreciated that he cared about Lisa and me. It wasn't until one night at a friend's birthday party that things started to unravel. We were at our friend Sarah's place, and everyone was drinking and having a good time. At one point, I noticed Lisa whispering something to my dad, and they both laughed in a way that made my stomach turn. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about the interaction just felt off. Later that night, I asked Lisa about it, and she brushed me off. She said I was overthinking things and that I was being paranoid. I let it go, but the uneasy feeling wouldn't leave me. 2 weeks after that party, I came home early from work, something I rarely did. Lisa wasn't expecting me, and when I walked into the house, I heard voices coming from upstairs. One of them was Lisa's, and the other was unmistakably my dad's. My heart dropped. I felt this cold sweat wash over me as I stood at the bottom of the stairs, frozen in place. I could hear them talking, but I couldn't make out the words. I stood there for what felt like hours before finally deciding to confront them. I went up the stairs, pushed open the bedroom door, and there they were, sitting on the bed together. Fully clothed, thankfully, but the look on their faces said it all. They had been caught. The next few minutes were a blur. I don't remember much of what was said. I know I yelled. I know Lisa cried. My father. He just sat there looking guilty but not saying much. I stormed out of the house, my head spinning, not sure where to go or what to do. In the days that followed, the truth came out in bits and pieces. Lisa admitted that she had been having an affair with my father for almost a year. A year. She tried to explain it away, saying she was feeling neglected by me and that my father had been there for her, offering emotional support when she needed it. But I didn't care about her excuses. The betrayal was too much to process. But here's the kicker. Not only had they been sneaking around behind my back, but everyone in our circle of friends knew about it. They had all kept it from me. Every single one. of them. Apparently, there had been rumors swirling for months. Some of my friends had even seen Lisa and my dad together, holding hands at a bar, leaving a party together, but no one ever told me. Not once. They all claimed they didn't want to hurt me, that they thought it wasn't their place to get involved. But how could they not say anything? How could they sit there week after week, hanging out with me, knowing full well that my wife and my father were betraying me? When I confronted my friends, their responses were weak at best. Some of them apologized, saying they didn't know how to tell me. Others tried to justify their silence, saying they thought I probably knew and was just ignoring it. It felt like I was living in some twisted reality where everyone but me was in on this sick secret. The fallout was devastating. I cut ties with almost everyone. My marriage obviously was over. I couldn't look at Lisa without feeling a wave of disgust. We didn't even try to reconcile. There was no point. She moved out within a week, and I filed for divorce shortly after. As for my father, well, that was a different kind of heartbreak. I couldn't believe the man I had looked up to my entire life could betray me like this. I haven't spoken to him since the day I caught them. My mother, who found out about the affair after I did, was just as devastated. She kicked him out of their house, and as far as I know, she's filed for divorce as well. The worst part of all of this has been the isolation. Losing Lisa was one thing, but losing almost all of my friends and my relationship with my father? It felt like my entire support system was ripped out from under me. I've been struggling to figure out who I can trust, and right now, that list is very short. It's been about 6 months since I discovered the affair, and I'm still trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I'm in therapy, trying to work through the anger and betrayal. Some days are better than others, but there are still times when I feel like I'll never be able to move on from this. I've reconnected with a few old friends from college who weren't part of our immediate social circle, and they've been a lifeline for me. It's been nice to have people in my life who weren't involved in the mess, who didn't betray me by keeping the affair a secret. I'm slowly starting to rebuild my life, but it's been a long, painful process. As for Lisa and my father, I have no idea if they're still together. I don't care to know. From what I've heard through the grapevine, Lisa has been laying low, and my dad has been trying to reach out to me, but I'm not ready to have that conversation. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. So, that's where I'm at right now. A marriage destroyed, relationships with friends shattered, and a family completely broken. I wish I could say there's been some silver lining in all of this, but right now it just feels like I'm trying to survive. Subscribe and like for more videos.